Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our Sustainable Table webinar series. My name is Daniel Rojas, and I am part of the marketing and promotions team here at CFSI. For those who don't know what CFSI is, it is the Campus Food Security Initiative, and we aim to address food insecurity and foster healthier eating habits by creating easy access to locally grown or sourced fresh produce, to plant-based products as well. We're all about healthy eating, and we are doing this webinar series to help promote healthy eating and show some great recipes that you can try at home. Today, we are joined by some members from the Student Government Association who will be walking through with us on how to make vegan peanut butter chocolate chip cookies. I have a huge sweet tooth, so I'm very excited for this recipe myself. It's going to be great. And after they walk through and show us the whole demonstration, we also have some guest speakers from the Food Pantry of UTRGV joining us to provide some information about what they're up to, what's going on with them. So stick around for that. And yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the demonstration. So let's say hello to the members of SGA.
Hey y'all, my name is Pablo Rojas. Everybody calls me JP, and I'm the Student Government Association President.
Hi everyone, my name is Samantha Lara. I'm the Chief Justice of the Student Government Association.
And thank you everyone for making some time to be able to join us in this amazing webinar that we partnered up with CFSI to promote better healthy options for the community. And today we're going to be baking I don't like to call them by the full name. I just like to call them monkey cookies, but the full name is chunky monkey cookies. And we'll introduce some of the ingredients that we will be using for today. So these are the bananas.
You'll need some almond milk or any other type of plant-based milk.
All-purpose flour.
1 cup.
1 cup. 1 cup of all-purpose flour. And baking soda.
I believe half a teaspoon of baking soda.
And also some walnuts. You can chop them beforehand. And also some chocolate chips, but dark chocolate chip chocolate chips.
And peanut butter is an optional thing to put in these cookies as well. So that's up to you all. And
I prefer them without peanut butter, but
so let's get started.
So first you're gonna get the bananas, and you're gonna dump them in one of the trays. And Sam will mash them up. And while she is doing that, I will be mixing the baking soda and the all-purpose flour. So that way when she's ready, I can be able to mix mine with hers, and we can start basically preparing everything so we can bake them.
So JP, do you want to tell our audience a little more about SGA?
Yeah. So basically, we are the Student Government Association, and the Student Government Association, we basically address student concerns. So anything that the students, anything that's going on in the student's life in regards to academics or in the community that in some way or shape or form affects UTRGV, we can be able to address those particular concerns. Like let's say class availability or a situation that is a social issue on campus, both in Edinburgh and Brownsville, and all the other facilities that UTRGV currently has in place throughout the entire RGV. And me being a president, I can be able to address those concerns in a different scope than the rest of the members of the Student Government Association. And I will allow Samantha, which is the Chief Justice, to speak a little bit more about her branch.
So I am actually from the judicial branch, you guys, and basically I just make sure that everything is functioning well in our SGA, that all our members are fulfilling their duties appropriately, and that if there are any problems that arises, then I would get my associate justices, and we would basically just review any issues and see how we can resolve them. So it's very important that we make sure our SGA is running smoothly so that way we can give a better outcome to you guys, the students.
As you all probably have noticed already, SGA is separated into branches, regular government. To give an example, like the United States, we have the three branches. Well, in SGA, we also have the three branches, which is the executive, the judicial, and the legislative. So we're all separate and equal at the same time. And in the executives, it's me, the president, and also our two amazing vice presidents, Yahio Akuda from the Brownsville campus, and Anase Cantu from the Edinburgh campus. And we also have our senators. I believe we have right now about 25 members in our organization. And there's 4 per academic college. So actually, we just got one member from the education college to be able to be appointed. So that's a huge, huge thing because there has not been as much representation for the education college. And his name is Rafael Torres. He's our newly elected senator. And we also have a new senator for the Brownsville campus, Jocelyn Guerrero. She basically will oversee anything that has to do with the Brownsville campus, the student concerns, and all that type of stuff.
So really quickly, guys, just to let you know what we're doing, I'm going to go ahead and add the plant milk, the almond milk, to our mashed bananas. And we're going to go ahead and mix that up.
And just to let you all know a little bit of the things that we are doing in the Student Government Association, we are implementing some initiatives throughout the summer, and one of them is the Constitutional Convention. So, Sam, would you like to tell them what the Constitutional Convention entails?
Yeah, so basically we are revisiting our Constitution, which was written at the start of UTRGV back in 2015, I believe. Yes. So it's time to, revisit that document, make some changes because, our university has grown a lot and we want to make sure to be inclusive to all our students and all our campuses. So we're revisiting those documents, we're currently reviewing them, and around July, we are going to have a general info session for anyone to come to, any students, any senators, anyone who wants to just add any comments, ask any necessary questions. Y'all are more than welcome to do so, and we'll go ahead and announce the dates later on.
Yes. We're going to have one very soon, basically in the first 2 weeks of July. And then later on, we're going to have another series of them so that we can be able to let the student body know what exactly those changes entail and how it will affect them. So I'm going to start adding the baking powder / all-purpose flour. But I wanted to add it all all at once, but Samantha told me that it's always best to add it little by little.
Now, just to let you guys know, these cookies are egg-free, they are oil-free, they are sugar-free. That's why we used very ripe bananas to go ahead and get a really sweet taste from the bananas without any extra sugar added.
More? Okay.
There you go.
Hi guys, I'm Jose. I'm part of the CFSI. I'm just here to help JP and Samantha in their cooking. I just want to point out that we used no sugar in this recipe because overripe bananas, their starch starts to break down over time, and the sugar content actually starts to rise. So as bananas start ripening, the sugar content gets higher. So it causes us not to use any more sugar. And also, ripe bananas, they boost higher vitamin C and antioxidant levels. And also, bananas help maintain blood pressure. They help reduce risk of strokes because of potassium. It's very high. Fiber in bananas help combat heartburn, constipation, and stomach ulcers.
Also, just a little extra information. So for the Student Government Association, if you want to learn more about the Student Government Association, or if you even want to represent the student body in some way, shape, or form, we do have some positions available in both, well, actually in all branches, right? No, in both, oh, actually in just 2 more branches, in the executive branch and in the legislative branch. We currently have some positions available in the academic senatorial faction, and then we also have, I believe, we added 3 new positions as paid positions for the Student Government Association. So for those, make sure to apply through Handshake. The work study eligible, make sure to apply. It's for the FYI director and the Secretary of Communications and also the Secretary of Finance. So to give a little bit more of an insight of what the FYI director does or is basically the overseeing of a first-year internship program that basically immerses first-year students in university policy and also advocating in some way, shape, or form for the student body. All of it?
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, these cookies do taste amazing. We have made them in the past, and that's when we realized that they taste better without peanut butter. Well, personal preference. I believe Sam liked them with peanut butter.
Yeah, I do enjoy peanut butter, especially with the banana. It just tastes really well, but if you don't like it, it's totally optional, not necessary at all. So.
Why did you guys add the flour little by little?
We added the flour little by little just because, like, it gets this really doughy consistency, and to add it all, it would have been just really hard to mix. And also for flour, it can compact a lot very easily. So when you add it little by little, it kind of helps that the particles are separated a little more, and that helps with the baking process.
Do we have to use walnuts, or can we use something else?
Walnuts are completely optional. If you want to use any other type of nut, you're more than welcome to do so. We're just following the recipe. Preferably, I would have wanted no walnuts, but we're adding them.
Okay.
So, JP, do you want to tell the audience a little more about your past in SGA? What other positions have you taken?
Yeah, so I've been part of SGA almost for 4 terms. I was first in the first year internship as an intern under the advisements of the VP and the president back in the day in 2018. And then soon after, I just fell in love with the organization. At first, I thought the organization was kind of like a student council, like exists in high school. But I soon came to the realization that it's not like that. And as I learned more in regards to student advocacy and activism, I decided to keep going with it. So I became a senator for the College of Sciences. And then when I was briefly a senator, I found out of a position that's called the First Year Internship Program Director. So I just read more about it, and also I found out that not only would you be able to basically teach the new generation, but also you would do some of the advocacy work that a regular member of the organization can be able to do. So I decided to apply, and shortly after, I was accepted to become the director, and that's where I met Samantha. Samantha is a product of the internship for SGA.
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to be a first-year intern last semester in the fall semester of 2020. It was such a great opportunity to get introduced into the Student Government Association without actually having to take up and that would require me to have a lot more knowledge. I didn't feel very prepared to jump right into a position such as a senator and associate justice. So the first year internship program was a really great way to just introduce me into SGA, and it also helped to teach me a lot. I got to be mentored under the past Chief Justice, Enrique Granados, and he was a really great mentor. He helped me so much. Unfortunately, he had to leave his position, but they encouraged me to apply because I mentored under him. And so I was able to become the Chief Justice around February of 2021. And so far, you know, we're actually filling the judicial branch up a lot more. It's never really been filled up before in the past. And right now I have 2 associate justices and 2 more coming in. So that'll be really great to see the growth of our judicial branch.
Okay, so I'm going to try to do my best to basically start transferring the dough onto the sheet. And Sam is going to help me make sure that I can make a perfect circle.
Or try to.
Try to at least. Okay. My circle came out perfect, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna do another one. And the recipe basically ensures that you can make at least 8. One time we made it and we made 10. Okay. Also, all our meetings are for the public, for the Student Government Association. So how SGA basically works is that every student at UTRGV is part of the organization in some shape, way, or form. The only thing is that the only difference between a student and an appointed member is that an appointed member can be able to voice out their concerns for the student body. A student is always allowed to be able to be a part of our organization through Senate meetings. Our Senate basically functions through the chair of the Senate, Raul Ruiz. And if you all ever want to join one of our meetings, make sure to email him at SGA chair of the Senate at utrgv.edu. So that way you can be able to get the link and you can pop in and see what exactly we do. And also, if you have any concern, you can be able to voice it out there in the Senate meeting, and we can be able to address it as quick as possible. Okay. Yes.
For how long are you guys gonna bake the cookies?
So we're gonna bake them in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 to 20 minutes. You can adjust the time according to however long you think they need to be adjusted. For these cookies, they are a bit more, they have a fudgier consistency. So they're not gonna taste very hard or very crunchy or anything like that. They're gonna taste a little more almost like a brownie-like texture. And that's because, you know, the banana is very soft and mushy. We didn't add sugar or anything like that, so.
And I think we did a pretty great job. Okay, and so that you all can be able to see a final product, we pre-baked some, and these are it. So this is the one with peanut butter, and these are the ones without peanut butter. These are my favorites, and well, me, because I'm JP, I get 3, but Samantha gets 1 because she likes peanut butter. And we're gonna go and see if we can be able to see if somebody's here that can be able to try them out.
Would you like to try one of our Chunky Monkey cookies?
Yes, I would be delighted to. Does it have banana in it?
It does.
I can really taste the banana. It tastes really good.
Yeah.
I like how chewy it is. It's different from just a regular cookie. And I love the complement between the banana and the chocolate.
Yeah.
It really gives a really good pairing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think they make a good little breakfast treat on the side.
Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much to SGA, JP, and Samantha for showing us how to make those incredible cookies. It looked amazing, delicious. Like I said earlier, I have a huge sweet tooth, so that looks like something I would absolutely love myself. So yeah, if you're interested, that recipe is there for anyone to try. If you do try it and try your hand at making it, make sure to take a picture and tag us on social media at utrgv.cfsi on Instagram and on Facebook. Thank you again to SGA members JP and Samantha for joining us today for that. Now we're going to move over to our special guest speakers from the Food Pantry of UTRGV, Jaime Richardson and Dr. Douglas Stoves. They're here to talk about what they're up to, what their initiative is. And yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring them in. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm gonna go ahead and bounce out and let you guys have the floor and say what you gotta say.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Again, my name is Dr. Douglas Stoves. I'm the Associate Dean for Student Rights and Responsibilities, working out of the Dean of Students office. And joining me today is Mr. Jaime Richardson, who is the Program Manager for Student Rights and Responsibilities. The Food Pantry is a function of the Dean of Students office, and we have the pleasure of overseeing that operation. We have two locations. We have one location in Edinburgh in the University Center, and on the Brownsville campus, we are in Calvary Hall. Right now, we're still on our schedule of distribution days that we adopted during the COVID-19 pandemic. And so we do have an online ordering form so that students can order ahead and just go in and pick up. At this point, it's completely contactless. And so the role of the food pantry, of course, is to address hunger of our students, as well as addressing issues of food insecurity by offering students food supplements. We are a subsidiary of the food bank, so we receive low-cost foods and access to foodstuffs through that as our primary source. To give you an idea of the usership of our pantry, I'm going to go back to the spring of 2020, which still had a little bit of course, COVID influence, because as we all know, March was whenever after spring break. But during our numbers for January 1st through May 31st is that through the two pantry operations, we assisted about 1,500 students, or we provided about 1,500 meals. And that was for about 500 students. And so we were, the way we distribute food is the students are given up to 40 pounds of food per week. And we try to provide, our best, foods, our shelf-stable foodstuffs, so that way our their preservation of the food isn't an issue. We also do try to purchase fresh meats as well, so that we can freeze and so that students have access to nutritious meals. Now, we can say that during the pandemic, of course, we had limited use of our pantry. This was due, of course, primarily to the fact that the residence halls were very low in the number of people staying there. Plus, of course, students weren't on campus, and so we know that a lot of students, we were assisting them and directing them to the food bank to find a distribution site that might be closer to their home, so that they could access those sites safely and securely. And we, one of the things that we learned during the pandemic is how fragile our food supply is as it relates to our ability to provide food. Whenever our access to food was limited, just like everybody else in the valley. We, obviously, as we hit critical need, then the critical resources are allocated to. And of course, we didn't have a critical mass on campus. But also, we found that during the winter freeze, we again found ourselves at somewhat of a deficit as far as being able to access foodstuffs. We were very fortunate that there were some folks that were helping us out during that time. But one of the challenges that we had, of course, is that for our students on campus, they also had issues with accessing food. And so we did have to work at distribution, and I'll let Jaime tell you a little bit about the efforts that our staff took during that time.
Yes, we had two students here on the Brownsville campus, and also two students that are working at the food pantry on the Edinburgh campus come in and basically make sure that the students who are living on campus had access, because know that the power outages were affecting a lot of the students, and they weren't able to purchase food because some of the stores were closed because of the power outages. So our students came on campus, made sure they were able to distribute out the same day they would distribute on a weekly basis, but for the students that didn't have access to the groceries to access our foods, in reference to getting some frozen meats, some pastas, and whatever we had on our end and what we had on stock, to make sure that the students had a meal at least until the power came back on, So, and I know there were some other issues that we're trying to address, but what was the main thing, was to making sure that our students had opportunity to get some meals in. And it's a great subsidized source for students. We know a lot of college students, specifically when you're subsidizing meals, or specifically in reference to funds. If we can reallocate your funds for something else, we would really like our students that are living on campus to take advantage of this, or any student in general, if they have any type of food insecurities. But this really can help the students in reference to managing their meal plans, because sometimes you allocate funds specifically for meals, and if you can subsidize that by using our services, by coming weekly, and so that way your money can stretch a little bit longer for other things like gas, other things that may come up. So really want you to take advantage of this, take advantage of these services. That's really we're trying to promote, to make sure, if you do need and you are short, make sure to take advantage of this service. We also will be providing community services opportunities for our students as well. So in the post-pandemic, we're opening up everything the way it was before. So if you need some community service hours to take care of, we'd really like the assistance. Mondays is really prep for Tuesdays. Tuesdays we distribute. Fridays we distribute. So Thursday, basically Mondays and on Thursdays, you can really help out so that we can prep the food, so we can set it up for distribution.
And so I saw something that showed up in the chat of how can students volunteer to help. Well, you can go to our website, and that will there is a form there that you can fill out for volunteering, and of course, we can always use the assistance, because when we get food delivered, well, all that food has got to make its way to the shelves, and we've got to rotate stock and things of that sort. So volunteers are always welcome. Of course, we're going to be working our way to open in the fall, and so there may be some limitations right now, but we're certainly going to get there. We do know that a lot of students, we've seen up to some stats that say up to 60% of students who are on campus will at some time experience food insecurity. So that's why we're here, and that's why it's so important. I can say proudly that we are student fee funded, meaning that students have voted with their dollars to help their fellow students. So from that standpoint, we are very grateful for that and the assistance that brings. And so, and we've got a ways to go. We know that we are touching just a fraction. So, some of the things that we're looking at doing is that we'd actually, again, we also have applied and received several grants, one of which is going to fund a graduate assistant position. We're still developing that, but if you're interested, certainly reach out to us, and we'll make sure that once we get our job description and everything complete, that we would invite you to apply, because the goal of it is to market and promote our student food pantry, so that way, the last thing we want to be is a well-kept secret, right? So we want to make sure that we're out there and getting in front of people. But there are some things that we're going to continue because we found that they work really well for our students. One of them is the online ordering form. Kind of like, if you will, a modified HEB curbside. Basically we adjust the menu so that way you can order online, and it allows you to just come and pick up your the food. The other thing is that we have for some of our grants we've expanded our storage. So on our Brownsville campus, we were able to get a new freezer so we can get more food stuff, and basically so we can give students more access to fresh meats. Of course, what we realized is how lucky we were. We had shelf stable during the freeze because, of course, our freezers turned off, so we did lose some product. We distributed as much as we could, but of course, students are having problems storing it themselves. So we were worried about foodborne illness, but we did. Distribute quite a bit of proteins and things like that we had available that were able to stay on the shelf. The other thing that we're real excited about that we're working on right now, we hope, fingers and toes crossed, that we can get it on site. But we're going to have a locker system so that way, if students can't make it to our to the pantry during the time that we are distributing, they would be able to basically receive an email and a code to electronically access a locker, so that way at their convenience they can go and pick up the food stuff, so that way we're not trying to have students come and not go to class and things like that to get their food stuff, so that way it's going to be more convenient for them. And so that's just some of what we've got going on with the food pantry and some of the forward-looking things. And so we're excited to bring new stuff, and some and technology to this. But then we're always ears open and ready for more suggestions or things like that we can do to assist students with this effort.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that information. I'm particularly interested in that last thing you mentioned, the electronic locker. That sounded very interesting and very, what's the word? Convenient for people who have very different schedules. I really do like that.
Yeah. The only thing we won't be able to do is frozen meat and stuff. So if you don't, so that way, if you kind of forget, it's not gonna, what is that unique smell down in the locker, right? So it's gonna only be shelf stable that we can distribute that way, but we're excited for that, and we hope to have that installed, like I said, for this fall.
That's awesome. Now, again, for anyone who is interested in more information about the food pantry, you can visit their website at utrgv.edu/food pantry. I believe that's where you can find the application for the food pantry request.
So on our front page, it's gonna right now it's set up with the virtual office still, but you're gonna see a link for the Edinburgh pantry or the Brownsville, because there's going to be different things that are in stock at either location. So that's why they're differentiated like that. But whatever campus is closest and most convenient for you. And of course, if it's proving to be a problem for you to getting to our doors because of distance or things like that, then we can always get you connected with the food bank RGV, so that way you can find a distribution site that may be closer to you. But we are, and the other thing to mention, we are limited to serving students. We can't serve, we don't serve other constituencies like faculty or staff. They would have to go to food bank distribution site.
Okay, that's really great to know. Well, again, thank you very much to Dr. Douglas Stokes and Jaime Richardson for joining us today and talking about the food pantry with us. It's a great information to have, great information to know. And we also want to thank all of you for joining us for this Sustainable Table webinar. Those cookies looked amazing. If you happen to make those cookies, please post us on social media and share it with us at utrgv.cfsi. We'd love to see it. If you want to know more information about us, CFSI, you can also visit our own website, utrgv.edu/pewd/CFSI. You can find a bunch of our recipes there. We have a lot of things there that are really interesting and delicious. And one last thing, we are having a little giveaway thing here for people who watch our webinars. At the end of every webinar, we'll post a link to a Google form. And at the end of the summer, at the end of our webinar series, we're going to take all those forms and pick 3 lucky winners who will get a gift basket. So we're going to post the link in chat right now. And if you're interested in possibly winning a gift basket, go ahead and follow the link, fill it out, and there you go, you're entered. It's very easy. Thank you again to our members of SGA, JP and Samantha, for joining us, and of course, Dr. Douglas Stokes and Jamie Richardson from the Food Pantry UTRGV. We'll be back next Friday for yet another webinar. Stay tuned to find out what we'll be making. Thank you again for joining us. Have a great rest of your day and a great weekend.